There's a secret devil in the land of the sun? We open Black Clover chapter 351 on a mighty roar. The five-headed dragon is more than ready for a fight. The oversized beast is massive. Even one head is many times bigger than Asta. But sheer size isn't enough to win a fight if you have agility on your side. The Black Bull is flying through the air, circling over the dragon's quilling form and getting below its head. That gives Asta a clear shot at the dragon's more fleshy-looking underside, and he's resolved to take it, zooming close to the massive abomination. One mighty Z10 is enough to sever the dragon's head. The great creature didn't even have a second to cry out. It's just an instant, clear decapitation. Asta keeps moving, going against another of the five heads. The second head looks surprised at this magic knight randomly crashing into it, but Asta isn't stopping. He flies straight up, right at the second dragon's head, and slices it right down the middle with a second Z10. That should be 2/3 of the creature's heads down. But before celebrating, Asta looks back. This final battle isn't going to be so easy. The first head Asta took out is already snaking through the air above the town, trying to chow down on Asta. Below him, the second head is already starting to knit itself back together, with Asta's anti-magic being pushed out of the wound. This thing's regenerative properties weren't coming from the Paladins. What's more impressive is that Demon Slasher isn't disrupting its self-healing. It unravels most things Asta's used it against, but the dragon's somehow made of tougher stuff. Asta wheels away from the head that's trying to bite him. He's starting to get a little on edge. He can cut through this thing's hide pretty easily with anti-magic, but that doesn't disrupt it. He's not sure what he can accomplish here. A problem that can't be solved with brute force? What's he supposed to do about this? A problem like this is usually where Asta would rely on his friends, but there's no one else in this fight right now. Well, he's got some time to think it through. Elsewhere on the battlefield, Heath Grice is having his share of problems. The last paladin standing is going all out with his ice spells, enveloping the whole area in front of him with interlocking glacial spikes. There's no one visible on the field. He's just trying to blast everything around him and hope for the best. He's no longer got access to Lily's spatial magic for that cool combo spell that took out the rest of the Ryuzen. Without that, he can't target his magic as accurately, but he's still giving it his all. But these flimsy spires aren't enough. On the other side of the icy barrier, there's a faint chuckle as a figure walks forward. He's in shadow at first, but soon enough, Mushogatake Yosuga, self-proclaimed strongest member of the Ryuzen 7, steps right through the barrier. He doesn't even need to swing his sword to power his way past Grice's spell. Yosuga grins at Grice, calling him out. Is that all he's got? A bit of cold water? If so, the Ryuzen's got no reason to worry. He literally just walked through his opponent's attack spells like they were nothing. As far as he's concerned, all Heath has is flash. His ice magic may look fancy and cool, but it won't be close to enough for him to take on the Land of the Sun's strongest warrior. Grice looks surprisingly worried. Both of his companions have already fallen. It's hard to feel like some invulnerable champion of Holy Light when two of your friends have already been defeated. But he's not backing down and says as much to the oncoming samurai. The odds may be against him, but he's set on fighting for the sake of Lucius's righteous future world. With his master's plan resting on his shoulders, there's no way Grice can just surrender. Yosuga tries turning those words on his tongue. Righteous world? Ha! Grice keeps throwing spikes at him, trying to do anything he can to slow his opponent down. But the samurai doesn't seem bothered at all. He just keeps talking. He's not angry at the paladin, even after all those attacks. It's only natural that Grice would believe that his leader's got a good cause and that he's worth fighting for. Who goes into a fight not thinking he's in the right? And Mushogatake doesn't know anything about Lucius, but he doesn't have to. He's here to cut Grice down because of the man he serves. Ryuya, his shogun, and Yosuga isn't going to doubt that man ever again. With that declaration made, we begin a flashback, with Mushogatake explaining his past and his connection to Ryuya. He was a nobleman and from a prominent family. He was heir to the island of Koshu and one of the strongest warriors in the Land of the Sun. There was only one person whom he had actual respect for, Ryuya, heir to the neighboring island of Goshu. The two even have matching theme animals associated with their families, Mushogatake's clan being tied to the tiger, while the Ryudo household is linked to dragons. Ancient symbolism shared between Japan and China pairs these two creatures extremely frequently, associating each with different mindsets. The tiger is aggressive and direct, while the dragon is patient and wise. And hey, wait, that dragon! Kinda looks like Momonosuke from One Piece. This is Wano Act 4. But yeah, the two Noble Heirs were another pair of rivals crossing swords to see which was more fit to become shogun. Apparently, they use this spar routinely in their youth. This is a pattern Tabata keeps coming back to in Black Clover. We've got another Asta and Yuno situation here. Two rivals, both aspiring to something greater and pushing each other onward. But things turned a bit darker for Yosuga and Ryuya when the Tiger Lord turned 17. A plague started spreading out of nowhere. It was violent, driving victims to claw at tightening throats or almost vomit their guts out. This strange contagion hit both Koshu and Goshu specifically, and it was brutal. Those with weak magic were dying by the dozen, turning hospitals into makeshift morgues. The rulers of the time were getting desperate. With the death toll mounting, both islands could be entirely devastated. Koshu and Goshu would be left with none of their inhabitants alive. The only possible cure anyone could think of was something called the Mystic Soul Herb, a folkloric healing item that was believed to have gone extinct. They had no idea how to track down something like that. But this is where Yosuga and Ryuya came in. They were both taken to an ancient stone wall with a carving of an eye upon it. However, a great gorge had been cut into the rock face, dissecting the stone eye down the middle. The nobles of Koshu and Goshu explained the situation to their young lords. Within this land lies the special power, the Tengensu. These two noble warriors are the only ones who could possibly obtain this special power. However, that's the problem. Anyone who claims this eye does so by losing all of their own magic. That idea terrifies Yosuga. We see a bead of sweat break down his cheek as he starts worrying about it. He knows that an all-seeing eye is an impressive power, but without magic, he's not sure what good sight can do. What's the point of that power without the ability to fight to back it up? As strong as he was, the one thing Yosuga was afraid of was losing his strength. The only way he could see to affect the world was through his magic and his sword. He was willing to let the weak die rather than give up his power. He didn't even know if this herb existed. What if the eye couldn't find it? But his rival didn't hesitate. Ryuya immediately agreed to give up all his magic. He only pauses to ask Yosuga if he's okay with this. The warrior agrees, but inwardly, he's completely bewildered by this. Ryuya will surrender all his magic? Why? Does he even still want to become the shogun? Well, perhaps he does. In the days after that, Ryuya managed to find the living soul herb and save the people. Everyone was cheering for him as a worthy hero. Yosuga was angry with Ryuya. They couldn't be rivals anymore after all. However, lacking power didn't really hold Ryuya back. In the days after that, he kept traveling to help people. We see him offering a comfort to a parent and child who had lost their house before he starts preaching. And preaching to a group of people who are just bowing down before him, looking like they're worshiping him. Okay, so let's go over what we just learned. In a desperate situation, Ryuya and his friend went to a magical wall with something on the other side. Whatever was there demanded that they sacrifice all their incredible magical energy to it in order to achieve this mysterious great clairvoyance. A contract, if you will. Ryuya did so, and ever since then, he's been picking up devoted followers and solving many of their problems. He got a bunch of powerful warriors to follow him, all of them holding strong personal devotion to their beloved leader. Did the plague ever stop? Magic in Black Clover is, for most people, linked to their life force. Taking too much can potentially kill people. It's what led to Asta's mother living alone in the wilderness. While it's possible to survive without it, most people simply die if they get drained too far. Yosuga even notes that most of the civilians who were killed by his illness were those with weak magic. And the only way to find this mysterious herb, which was supposed to be extinct, was to feed all of a powerful mage's magic to whatever was behind this eye wall? Remember Ichika's story about the five-headed dragon? When it was slain, its blood stained the ocean black, connecting it to hell. What if that stain ran deeper than the oceans? What if it seeped into Goshu itself? The eye on the wall sure looks similar to the exaggerated eyes the dragon now bears. Eyes it did not have in that original design. Perhaps the myth is wrong and something else corrupted the creature. Something that is still lurking within Goshu, even lurking behind Ryuya's eye patch. The thing behind the wall could have caused the illness, draining magic from both islands. Going off the map, it seems to be targeting them specifically rather than spreading to other parts of the Land of the Sun, with one island much more badly affected than the other. We never hear any reports of cases outside of these two islands. It simply relented once it had what it wanted. a willing host with a ton of magic it can keep consuming, and a chance at becoming shogun. While Yosuga acts like Ryu was a better hero than him since he'd been willing to give up his magic to help people, all his good deeds help propel him to the shogun position. Ichika confirmed as much during her fangirl rant about how cool Ryuya is. This campaign made him overwhelmingly popular, a beloved savior of the people. Would these people have really accepted anyone else taking the throne? And yeah, when the time came, an unseen official, weighing the choice between the two, tries to offer the position of shogun to Yosuga. But when he's given the chance at rulership of the nation, that final, ultimate validation, the warrior laughs it off. He outright tells Ryuya he should be the shogun, and Yosuga will happily serve him as he's 7th Ryuzen. Even his most powerful violent rival will devote his life to this man. It's natural to think of Ryu, the zero magic shogun, as some kind of older counterpart to Asta. That goes double now that we've seen he used to have his own rival. Ryu might be intended as an example for our spiky-haired lad, living proof that Asta really can become the Wizard King he dreamed about, even without magic. But if Ryuya is possessed by his Tengensu, if there is some ominous force behind it, there might be more to him than that. And his reign could be far more sinister. These heavy stipulations in exchange for a unique power really give devil vibes. And if not a devil, there's still the Earth Spirit that's yet to reveal itself in the series. Yosuga, however, doesn't have any suspicions of foul play on Ryuya's part. He's confident in his lord, and that faith carries him forward. Back in the present, Grice is starting to panic. His opponent is still standing, even after all the ice attacks he'd been able to throw at him. And we soon see why, as Yosuga keeps charging forward. His Iron Soldier spell looks entirely impervious to Grice's ice shards. The samurai doesn't even need his sword. He's just punching right through the glacial barrier. Soon enough, he's close to Heath Grice. The Paladin tries to fly away, but Yosuga leaps upward, sword raised high, as he spins around, putting more force into the motion. Before Grice can escape, the Ryuzen lands a mighty Z10 right down his midsection. He's grinning like a demon, and with his metallic spiky hair, Yosuga is looking as inhuman as Grice. The Paladin's eyes waver as he finally feels the damage of the attack. Yosuga's grin fades into his normal, self-assured smirk as the Paladin's eyes starts to fade away. Tough luck, pal, but I'm the strongest there is. Out on the battlefield, the remaining members of the Ryuzen are struggling to keep their footing. Ichika is nowhere to be found, but we still have Daizemon, Komari, Jozo, and Ginojo Morifuyu. The monk curses, calling out that they have to keep fighting somehow. And at that moment, a cry goes out. People! A familiar hand strums across some strings. Tenman Yashiki Fujio providing musical backing as Ryuya Ryudo, Shogun, Lord, and Friend, calls out to his faithful warriors. Even if no one else knows, I've watched over y'all this whole time. Your fights, your thoughts, your efforts. There ain't no way y'all will be defeated here. So let's all take down the five-headed dragon. That's enough to rally the Ryuzen in an instant. The loyal defenders of the Land of the Sun have gone from a beaten-down, dispirited band to 4 bold soldiers willing to kill or die for their beloved master. Is that Fujio's magic helping heal them back up to fighting shape, or their devotion to Ryuya inspiring them to push past the pain? Either way, Yosuga is ready to lead them into the fight, noting with a grin that this is the time to make a man out of Asta. What's he planning to do exactly? As always, I'm Slice of Otaku. Thank you all so much for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.